Jack move, I'm hitting licks tonight. Not a moment in sight, spares me my life. It's either get it or not. Holding 50, still I keep a glisten. I never been breaker ever fold. This K here holding 50, still I keep a glisten. I never been breaker ever fold. Shine at your own risk. You know it. The motherfucking work tapes. Lately, lot of niggas snitch. Putting little homies on smash. Really can't keep them the fish. So now they robbing for the bag. Now they can't focus on school. They don't give a fuck about that. They want the money, car, clothes, and the bitches. They want the whole thing and they need interest. This OG gon' hit them for keeps. Then he gon' get them some heat. And bang on the niggas who's weak. So now it's a war in the streets, making it harder to eat. A lot of niggas ain't no OG taking a nigga to make a killer. An OG take a killer and make that nigga realer. In the section trying to be a hitter. All that flex and bless a young nigga. Freedom young niggas who freedom still talk. Now it's a war in the streets, making it harder to eat. I got a lot of rage built up. I'm missing my niggas that's gone. It's hard when you really can't say shit.
Hey, that's OG right there. He a native from Nashville.
This K here holding 50, still I keep a glisten. I never been breaker ever fold. Jump piecing up the road. This is like I told that. It's coming back with that red shit. Up they can't let them have it. Put the pussy in the mattress. I'm about that savage. Free jump beat my uncle, nigga. Never had no daddy. Niggas talk too much. I just hit them with that red shit. My papa never did this shit for me. So I gotta get him back for all this shit he did for me. Nothing. Picture broke ass and snitching ass nigga. Red $4, ain't even gonna show ass nigga. Yeah, free red wrong nigga. It get done, nigga. K got 100 rounds on the 40, gotta make a blow, nigga. Alright.
Nice. Let's do it. Yes, family. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Mr. McGee Show. I am your host, your gracious host, Mr. McGee. As you can see, two powerful people on the panel with me. Of course, I got my co-host, Miss Cola. How you doing, sis?
I'm good. Yeah. I'm feeling some kind of way today, but I'm good overall.
Yeah, I know, man. I know, man. It's a no face, no case type of day. You feel me? So
yeah,
I think I'm gonna leave my mask on today. I got my brother here with me, man. My brother Mariyo, Deon. How you doing, brother?
Man, what's going on?
Yes, sir. Yes, man. My brother Mariyo, Deon is in the building, man. First and foremost, thank you for coming through. How's the family? How's everything going with the family and everything, man?
Man, the fam's good. Daughter's at 7th grade, so she's at East this year. Yeah. You know, so we making our dues through the city. Man, I hate, she was at Meg's, but that just wasn't, So that's kind of been the the transition and the switch. So just seeing her adapt in virtual school, man, I know how people would think, okay, Meg's East, as far as the schools, which one's a better school? Yeah. But it's like, man, I'm telling you firsthand, the teachers at East, man, they doing it. Like the communication and how they're working with the kids and making this transition, man, she's happy every day. So seeing her go from somewhere where we thought was best for her, to somewhere that, it's a fit, it works. So that's been cool. And, man, the little one is getting big and strong. Man, my lady just started a business, 807 Lash. If you're getting your lashes done on Instagram, it's 807 Lash.
Okay.
That's nice.
Yeah, man. So it's been, and I got my stuff going. So we're just moving as a unit, and building. And, man, it's going great. Like I said, man, I'm above 6 feet. So I'm just thankful to be here. There's a lot of people who aren't. So.
Nah, that's dope. That's dope, bro. That's dope, my brother. That's good that the family was doing good. I Let's get into it because I went to Martin Luther King, so I really want to. What was the disconnect with the
Yeah.
teachers? Were you saying it's a disconnect with the teachers that was there, or what? Or what?
Yeah, I'll speak on it. Um, it wasn't so. I'm a teacher myself.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm a licensed professional, and I've done that, man. I ain't here to like boast in that, and a lot of that is why I do what I do now is because I wasn't trying to do like all that. So it's like I go into it, uh, not trying to act like I know it. I just kind of watch and assess. It's just like I know what I do on the bare minimum. I know what I know what teachers do on the bare minimum. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at it. Is you putting the bare minimum, man? You ain't putting the bare minimum, man. Then it becomes a issue that isn't comfortable to talk about, which is okay. Well, we know this the grounds of Megs, what that was originally and initially for, and they have bricks and all that history up, in the school. But it's like that's not a representation of who runs and who's the face of that school.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So I'm like, man, for you not to be going above and beyond for a black child, uh,
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. Nah, we ain't got to spend too much time on it. That was just something
yeah, yeah.
I attended Meigs and Martin Luther King, but like I said, I
Well,
attended.
no, like I'm bringing it current. Like
Yeah.
like what we finna get into. It's just like we all the way around with it. It's a whole three. I'm the things that are affecting us as a people. It's like that's what I'm shining light on. Is what the everyday other black person doesn't know, to where I position myself where I don't have to filter.
Yeah.
To where at one point I could lose my job being on here talking like this.
Yeah.
So I ain't under no restrict. It's just like, and I'll be letting principals, teachers, and I go in for interviews. I'm like, I've established an identity in my community, so I can't change. I can't be that. You got to hire this.
Yeah.
This is it. But when I'm in those settings, I'm not acting like this or talking like this. I'm professional and moving, but it's like, we definitely need to start having these conversations of communities and our communities really dictating what our schools look like right now, because that's what's in the virtual learning in the setting. I'm telling you firsthand, I'm running virtual. I teach virtual. I have a daughter who's in virtual, so I'm seeing the both sides. And then I'm in trainings all day, every day. So I'm getting everything straight from Dr. Battle. It's like, but at the end of the day, the conversations I'm in there like, and I'm saying this in the meetings, where are the parents? Why are they not here in this? I'm a parent. And I'm like,
Yeah.
It's like I'm able to do certain things but it's like, nah, y'all should definitely, it ain't nothing real, it ain't confidential. We don't know, don't nobody know. So it's like, what's wrong with now being like, this is all those schools, especially the charters, who are pulling our children, and busing them. This is the perfect time for them to be like hugging the community. And I ain't seeing it. I'm not really seeing it, but I'm, like I said, at East, as far as social distancing go from a distance, man, they putting that, more than that bear. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing the energy. I'm hearing them every day. And then I listen to what people say about it. And it's just like, I think it has this ups, but it's just like, we're not in control, man. I think it's sad that we're in a time that we're in and things are going on. And bro, we're not in control of our youth education.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So like, Cole, I feel you when you was like, I really wasn't thinking about none of this, but when you was like, I feel some type of way today. And it's just like, if I got to tap in on what, my vibe is, it's like, it don't bring me down, but that's what kind of skews me through, I guess, what's happening on the day to day. Cause I'm like, I got to be here. This is a place where I know once our people are educated, once our people know, because they ain't got to go to class. They ain't got to go to book. It's like, yo, I'm trying to find a way for our people to 1, 2, 3 step, like bullet point, 1 page. That's what I'm telling these people out in the streets, these partners and other organizations, like these big groups who say they want to help. I'm like, man, get your 1 pager. I can't go to my people and vet you, because they're going to be like, well, when did you start working with them?
Yeah.
Now I'm out here and I ain't out here on that. So it's like, yo, where's your 1 pager? Because we in our communities, we not doing all that long talking.
Yeah, that's it.
Say it, bro, because I really, and it's not that I don't have time or I'm rude. It's like, man, I got to pick my child up. I got to get, I just, yeah, I'm with it. It's like, yes, and I'm down, spew me, don't. And I'm just like, yo, we got to fight for that, and this, I guess I'll just go ahead and pop it off and y'all can take it from there. And what that decision that was made today, it's like that fight looks more than just burning the city down. That fight looks like taking our schools back.
You're right. That fight is full circle. That's a full circle fight.
No, it is. It is, man. Hold on, y'all. I was trying to share my screen. So yeah. All right. So
what does that? So okay. So I was going to ask you, Deon, what does that look like to you as far as taking our schools back? What's going on in the school system that parents may be unaware of?
I'll speak
or
to,
maybe, and it's not necessarily.
I do. I have a candid response, but it ain't no cookie cutter response. It's
give it to me.
Yeah, it's people need to make sure that they're involved in the Gideon's Army. Sponsor at Gid City, October 24th, the Black Nashville Assembly. That's the first step, is that we got to come together and start governing ourselves. And so I can tell you as a participant, the last one that we just had, I'm not saying if y'all have heard about it, but, we're all in the group. Yes, there's a facilitator, but in our breakout sessions in our rooms, there is no one voice. It is a collective voice. Everyone's voice goes in. Everyone's voice is a solution. Everyone's voice is a step forward. And so it is in closing, it is a Black autonomous safe space. So if you are not Black, it's not that you are not welcome. This is intentionally not for you. You may not participate. So if you were to come, if we're gonna keep it at Gid City only because due to when it rained, so it's like we're just gonna keep it there. But if we were to do it in person, you would see what it looks like. But these are things that are happening in these other cities, that hasn't really come to Nashville. We haven't seen. But the first step is us starting to govern ourselves.
Okay.
We got to start having some private conversation. It doesn't have to happen at the Black Nashville, so you can start now with those, But if you think about it, let me bring application. If you weren't privy or you didn't know what I know, think about it. There is no place really that Blacks can go and organize and build in large groups without having to get permission, like from somewhere. We don't, so that's what's going on. It's a big political step. There are, and it's just one of those things where it's like, man, you come in and you discover for what yourself, but I guarantee you, if you're someone like Cola and that's what you're looking for, is like, what do we do? What is the next step? It's like, man, get involved, go to Facebook, search, like Google, whatever, Black Nashville Assembly. Information will pull up. You all are smart. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, that's one of those things I would definitely say is that's the first step. We got to, and I feel that way on everything. I think we need to check out like our Black teachers who are at charter. And I guess this is me making the call because it's been on my heart and mind. Our Black teachers who are at these charter schools or at these schools, I don't care where you live at. Right now, we need to be saving North Nashville. It's the last part of town that has not been gentrified. We need all our black teachers at John Early. We need all our black teachers at McKissick. We need all our black teachers at Pearl Cohn. That's just what it is.
It's on its way to being gentrified now. It's close, yeah.
So it's right now there's enough of the land though where it's like this is why we got to start governing ourselves.
We can still save.
Yeah,
you're right.
So there's rooms that we just, I know myself included, we're not gonna be in, but it's just like we got to start creating the rooms.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
We got to start creating the rooms, and stop looking to be in one. You know, it's just like how we're right here, right now. We picked a date and a time, and we're here. You know, so man, maybe for another conversation. I don't want to venture into this at all, but I teach an African American Studies class at Pearl Cohn, and these are the discussions we had. So I would love to maybe have another conversation where maybe I can get some youth on here and let them share their responses and talk. I think that is the second step. You know, like if let's say you couldn't do the Black National Assembly, it's like the next step is our black children. We got to start listening to them because they are being traumatized, and not necessarily by, you can say what you want to about black folk. I'm 34. It looked the same as been looking. It's just like people a little more out with it because it's cameras. You can't hide it. So it's sometimes you be on camera doing something in private and now you are viral.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just the times we living in. But that's my piece on it.
Yeah. All right, cool. So if y'all don't mind, man, let's get into this Breonna Taylor. So Cola, all right, so they had been investigating, you know, the murder of our sister Breonna Taylor for a while, and they came back in with some, I guess you would call them results today. So go ahead, break it down, sis. What did the grand jury find out about this case?
Well, all right. So, of course, you know, everybody know the backstory. Breonna Taylor, 26-year-old African-American woman, black medical worker, shot and killed by Louisville police officers, March 13, 2020. One thing about this is that it was kept as quiet as possible. Do you remember that? Nobody was really talking about what was going on during that time in Kentucky. No. It really started gaining public attention back in May. Yeah, Did you notice that?
Yeah, it was after George Floyd.
Yeah, right? After George Floyd. It really started gaining a lot of public attention then. Yeah. But thank God it did, because at that time, the police, I mean, they were just, you know, doing what they do, living their lives. But anyway, she was shot 6 times. They fired 22 to 35 shots into the home. She was shot 6 times, dead. Her boyfriend was shot, and shortly later he was arrested because he fired back, and they were trying to charge him with attempted murder. But due to the marching and rioting and the fact that the information had gotten out, people were protesting, they let her boyfriend go. Now, so today was the day that they came up, the grand jury indicted the police officer, Brett Hankerson. There were 3 police officers involved, but only one was indicted. Only one of the 3, named Brett Hankerson, he was indicted on 3 counts of wanton endangerment for actions during the raid. No charges were announced against the other 2 officers who fired shots, and no one was charged for causing Breonna's death at all. Like, I mean, they got off scot-free. Now, here's the police officer, Brett Hankerson. At the time, he was a detective, and this wanton endangerment he's been accused of, they indicted him on that because he fired into the sliding glass patio door of a window of Miss Taylor's apartment, of Breonna's apartment. Both of those, the patio glass door and the window, they were covered with blinds, and he fired into both openings, and that's in violation of the police policy that requires an officer to have a line in sight when shooting, and that he didn't have because those blinds were in the way, in the door and in one of the windows. So again, he was one of the only out of the 3 police officers who was actually dismissed from the force and charged with the wanton endangerment. Now, I had to look up wanton endangerment to see what that meant, because it's the first time I ever heard of anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of these made up created laws that we don't have any say so in. But go ahead, so break it down.
And so, according to Kentucky statute, this wanton endangerment, when it's applied towards someone, it's someone who is guilty of wanton endangerment in the first degree under the circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to the value of human life. And it says that he engaged in a conduct which created substantial danger of death or serious physical injury to another person. Those shots, so what that means is he endangered other people's lives. He endangered someone's lives. And he endangered their lives by shooting through the glass door and through the bedroom window, with the blind being there. So he did not have a line in sight. Does that make sense? When he was shooting, he didn't have a line in sight. He was almost like he was blindly shooting.
Yeah, he was just shooting reckless.
He was just he was shooting recklessly, exactly, because he could not see what was on the other side of those blinds. So some of the bullets went through Breonna's apartment, one into the next door apartment where 3 people were inside, including a pregnant woman and a child. So the 3 counts for each of those people in that apartment, and each charge states that under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to human life. And that's what that means.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that is called, when you're blindly shooting or recklessly shooting without a line in sight, that is called wanton endangerment, and that's what he was charged with. Well, that's what he was indicted. That's what he was indicted with 3 counts of that, because there were 3 people in the other apartment.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's so contradicting to the opening statement about what they said happened. So it's like, number one, if you had a right to be there,
right,
why did you let the boyfriend go?
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
When he was the focus of the investigation anyway.
It's
he was the focus. It was not Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, he's the one that shot. The second thing is, they said that the dude said he seen 2 people standing up, one a female, one a male.
That's what he said. The police officer.
Yeah, but it's like, but in the wanton endangerment, it's like, well, if where did the story come from that she was asleep or she was in bed?
That's right.
And so, that's the first time I've heard. Today was the first time I heard anything about somebody saying they seen a male and a female standing in a hallway.
Me too. But I mean, that was a part of his case of getting out of it. We know that was just a part of his case of getting out of it, trying to plant the picture of him, just being an innocent, I guess, police officer serving a no-knock warrant and trying to protect himself.
And then they said it's like y'all couldn't get
and then they're trying to say that it wasn't even a no-knock warrant. At this point in time, they're trying to say that it wasn't a no-knock warrant because they announced who they were.
Yeah.
So then it's like y'all couldn't get the unidentified neighbor to testify. You telling me someone didn't want to testify?
Well, let me tell you this. There were 12 people that said that they did 11. It was 12 people that they were investigating, asking if they heard the police battering the door, or if they heard anything, if they heard the policemen make an announcement that they were the police. Okay, they asked 12 people if they heard the police announce that they were the police. 11 said no. Only one said yes. And I guess that one out of the 12 is the one that was sufficient enough for them. 11 said no. One said yes. And that one was sufficient enough for them.
Oh man, all of that shit just sounds crazy, man. It's at the point now, man. I don't know, man. Like we kind of know how these movies are gonna play out.
Bull crap. I mean, just straight up, just all the way,
I mean, it's gonna be lies and deceit. So it's like
lies on top of lies, on top of lies, and on top of flipping and manipulation.
It's America. Yeah. This is America, Jack.
It is.
You know what I mean? And it's nothing. It's me and brother Mariyo was having a conversation, off the live, and he was pretty much breaking down a lot of the steps of just nation building. Like,
yeah.
When I say I consider myself anti-government, I'm more in the mentality of we should start our own government. We should stop begging and I did a whole show. Go back and watch my show on marching and protesting. We had Sam X on here, and he echoed the same sentiments I was saying, is begging begging people to stop harming us. You know what I mean? And we really know deep down what to do to stop letting people harm us, right? But we have to start creating our own. Like if we're not going to get justice in this justice system, we're gonna have to create our own or try to live outside of this system. You feel me? I don't really want to get too deep in it, but yes, when I saw the news today, my first reaction was like, yeah, sir, what is expected.
It was expected. I would
have been surprised if all three of them got indicted. I would have came on.
Yeah, I know people were like outraged, but I think like it definitely is more of a hurt than an outrage.
Yeah,
because I already knew you was gonna do it, and it's like, damn, nigga, you did that shit, bro.
Yeah. It's like y'all
did that.
Hey Mariyo, it's like your crackhead uncle that steals that steals something out your house. Yeah. You're like, damn, you always steal out my house, but it's been 6 months now. I thought I could let you in my house and you not steal nothing. Then your uncle steals.
Right. I thought we talked about it.
Yeah.
Did I beat your ass last time?
Yeah, exactly. And then your uncle still steal the fucking PS5 out the house. So you know what I mean? I laugh. I try to laugh it off, man, but
I can't laugh it off.
It's just crazy, man. It's the same old shit, man. I know people get tired of me and my prisoner of war analogy, so I won't get too.
Oh man, deep, it's slick, a modern day Emmett Till.
Yeah.
The outcome. It's the
Yeah, and then the one I read a quote somewhere, man. I hope it was a real quote. I didn't fact check it, y'all. I'm sorry, I didn't fact check this, but I think the officer who got indicted sent the email to his other officers.
I saw that.
It said something like, "Hey guys, you see how they treat me? This is what they think of us." And I'm like, bro, you got fucking one and you got 3 counts. When it should have been 40-50. If I did that, if I run into an apartment building and just start shooting recklessly, I'm getting 50-60 counts, man. All type of charges thrown, the book thrown at me, and all type of shit. So, a person to have that ego,
even if you was licensed and registered, even if you were defending yourself, even if you met all the requirements that you needed to make to carry to carry a gun and defend yourself, you're exactly right. They would have threw the book at you.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to go serve a search warrant, why wouldn't you have cameras on you?
That too.
And how is that not against state law? I thought that was mandatory by now.
It was supposed to be mandatory. I mean, and I'm like you. I thought that was mandatory. Maybe that's something that I need to look into, because I thought
he said that today, and I'm like, bro, that shit mandatory, ain't it? Like. You telling me no cameras were on? That sound like a hit.
That sounds like a hit. That sounds like you don't want any. That sounds like you don't want any evidence left behind, especially when they're dead with no camera, with no footage. So I mean, you
and
know,
I don't want to. I'm not trying to suggest this, and anybody, forgive me if I'm wrong for asking. Today was also the first time I heard any negative talk about her, Breonna, and her boyfriend, something about being involved with drugs, and that's why I'm just like, bruh, I'm just trying to understand why the story that's been the story for 194 days wasn't the story today.
Well, they did say that they had always said that they had found or heard that it was some drug trafficking going on in that apartment. That has been the story. But regardless.
I didn't. Yeah, I'm like, regardless though.
Yeah, regardless.
So it's okay.
She didn't deserve to die the way that she died. Regardless.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, so why don't y'all just run up in everybody's house who selling drugs?
Bam. There you go. They don't run up in these meth houses like that.
Bro, I know. Ooh. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's something, man. It's a big topic, man.
So I think this just I'm about to cut you off. This is what I'm saying though. It's not that it ain't in us to go do something about it. It's very important that we understand we've also been institutionalized that as to be quote unquote an alpha male, that means to show aggression. It is actually intellectual. It's about being the alpha intellect. And we are that by nature. You see it. We are world culture. Yeah. And so that's why we have to fight, and we have to take this energy. And it's righteous to be at the board of education, protesting down at the board of education. Like that's where it's like, and not to say whatever happens, but I'm saying, yo, if you feel how you say you feel about her, you shouldn't want to be at you shouldn't want. That's where I'm at. I was already there, but it's like you just shouldn't want to be nowhere. We shouldn't just want to be nowhere. Like I know y'all heard about that. Those people that bought the acres in Georgia.
Yeah. Yep.
The city. Have you heard about that?
Yep.
I haven't.
I have.
Okay. Fill me in.
It was like they bought 91 acres, something like that. We'll say 50 plus acres for sure. And then it's enough for it's a small city. It's gonna be called Freedom, Georgia, but it's going to be a black town. But they bought up the acres to have a safe space, safe community.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel about that, because they still have to operate within the laws of America, within the state laws of Georgia. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So,
well, I mean that's where we gotta. That's those conversations we gotta start having. It's like it was 19 families that came together.
Yeah, I heard of it. Okay, now that
yeah. So it's like it's just we have been. I've been traumatized because we just cope with it really well now.
You on point with it. I mean, we were born at. Listen, that's our history all the way up until now. Right. That's our history. Our great grandparents were traumatized, and when they had our grandparents, they raised them up within a traumatized mentality. I mean, it's generational trauma.
How many black people can say they ain't had the shit beat out of them?
We all had it.
And I'm at my siblings were older now, but we joke with it with our mother, and she claims to be like, oh, I did that, but it's like, yo, you know what? And my brothers, we have this side convo. It's like, man, she really don't though, because in the moment, it's like I'm looking at now as an adult, and it's like our parents were young when they had us, and it's just like, yo, being traumatized, and it's like, so let me fast forward.
Well, I don't know if I can equate getting a spanking as part of the trauma.
No, I'm saying I'm talking about the manner in which were like raised and structured. So like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like I know a lot of black families I knew growing up. It's like it was real in line. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't too much coming out the line, or you got yanked out.
Right. You got discipline. You got
Right. But
discipline.
looking back at it, I'm like, damn, you know, as a kid, I didn't think nothing of it. I thought it
Right.
was
Normal.
cool, you know, and I'm glad my mama did it.
Right.
I'm glad my daddy did it because I got some self-control out here,
Right.
you know, with a lot of freedom. So,
Right.
but at the end of the day, I'm looking at just, and now this is a big thing, like the social emotional learning that they're doing, like in the schools. It's like, that's something like we also didn't have time for. My parents were always at work.
There you go.
So it's like, this is why it's important. Again, the trauma and us being able to deal through it. This is why we got to be aggressive on like, the best thing we can do is get our people back at our schools and get our children we in our ways. So we going, you know what I'm saying? We just gonna be that, and that's what unity is. Us being individuals. We are not trying to create uniformity. It's unity, which is all of us doing our individual part for a common purpose, which is what govern ourselves.
Yep. Right. And it's like everybody has their own lane. You feel me?
Right.
Like, me and Cola, we disagree on a lot of things, but we know that for the most part, the end goal is the same.
That is it. Yeah.
And I tell Cola every week, like, yes, okay, it's some things that black people do as a, you know, as a collective that I don't participate in. I may even knock them sometimes, but at the end of the day, I don't go out and try to discourage them from doing that. I say, okay, all right, these are my brothers and sisters. This is their lane. Let them do that. These are my brothers. I know they have good hearts. They know exactly what they want, and they want to go. We got the same goal. We just have different paths of getting that to achieve that goal. So that's well said, brother. Well said about that. Well said about that, man. So yeah, man, Breonna Taylor, one officer got some bullshit ass charge.
Yeah.
And,
the thing about this is what you would call, it's a class D felony. And it's the lowest of the 4 classes of felonies. It is the lowest of the 4 classes of felonies. The maximum sentence is 5 years. The minimum is 1.
Yeah, and then the people took to the streets in Louisville today. I guess I want to ask you, Mariyo. I've been, you know, it's the climate right now, so I got to ask you, Mariyo, what's your thoughts on protesting, marching? Is it effective? Not effective? Just give me your thoughts on it, brother.
I'll share this because this is my place in the community, and it's like if I, you know, when I get to speak, I try to use what I've researched or educated, you know, so I'm not speaking out of feelings.
Yeah.
But I know it's important that we understand that if we are going to street protests, we understand that there's not a time in history where street protests have changed anything in our government. I do agree with people expressing how they're out there. It's like, I'm all with it. I'm for it because I'd rather them be out there than be at my door. First and foremost.
Yeah.
The next part for me is man, what? Oh, I'm sorry, I lost my thought. What was the
question? Just what's your thoughts on marching, protesting? Like I said, do you think it's effective? Do you know?
So the second, I appreciate you. The second thing I was going to say was we can protest. So if we choose to protest, this is the other side. If we choose to protest, there are permits that you can get where you get approved for certain spaces or area, you know, within the city. And if you're approved and you have that permit, and you say with XYZ, then it doesn't invite that. And I might be objective for saying this. It doesn't invite that aggression we see with the police and they bring all this in. So it's like I'm not against the protests, but it's like some of the protests that are happening. It's like if we just going back to just being real, if there's state laws and there's codes and there's a way, and we always ask, why do white people get to show up and do it? Motherfucker, I guarantee you they doing it a certain way.
They are.
We can say what we want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like I've yet to see any information or try to dabble into something that's been a protest, and I ain't saying it's got to be organized, but where it was on some like, yo, show everybody the permit, where we, you know, it always just seems to be like in the heart of a downtown when you look on the news. So I think that is like, that's that riot shit, and that's that revolution. It's like, bro, you can't stop that. It's like that going on every day. What people are saying, that's every day in the hood.
Yeah.
Like for these youth, these young, and that's go like these side streets and like back streets. It's like, yeah, if you go down like a main street, that's a lot of traffic. Yeah, you don't see that. You don't think that. But it's like Nashville hot. Nashville got these kids is out here.
Yeah. No, I saw that.
Yeah. So it's like, bro, if what y'all really don't want is these youth out there on that.
Yeah, but I know.
So no, I'm not against the protest, but I'm like, if we are, and the intention and the will is for change, it's like we're an oppressed people, so we're gonna have to get permission. We're gonna have to go through some type of, you know, steps. Like that's just what it is. So it's like, again, let me close out. The first thing is being aware that there is not a time, and, you know, just accept that fact. Man, we ain't changed nothing in the government during the street protest.
You don't believe so? Okay, what do you teach in school?
I think that there's been influences, but I don't think they were influences on decisions that weren't. It's like, okay, the decision that was made, was it influenced from the protest? Absolutely.
Yes.
Did it change our circumstances as a people, though?
Not 100%, but it changed some things.
Like what, Color?
Well,
you know, we go through this all the time. I want to backtrack. If y'all don't realize,
no, listen, hold on. Let me. I want to clarify, because it's not about the details. Like what I'm saying is our government hasn't changed. So like, yeah, they can change these laws. There is something else every time they change one of these laws. Like we discovered today, wanton endangerment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, nah, the street, it's like the street protests, they get justice for whatever that thing is, but it's like, why we gotta go, the protest gotta be for us governing ourselves. It's like that same energy, that same meetup, that same link up is a time to organize.
I agree with, yes. That's the one of the keys that we're missing. Mm-hmm. That's one of the keys that we're missing.
All right. So it's like, man, the hoorah and all that, it's like, yeah, who ain't with that? But it's like, bro, when I go, I want to know.
It's not the hoorah. There's more. There's other things that go along with the protest. It's not just the protest alone. It's the protest plus meeting with government officials. Right. That goes hand in hand. It's not just in the street marching. There's another part of that too. So now you go meet with the government officials. Now you got people at the courthouse, you know, pushing and applying pressure. If it wasn't for the marches and everything that was going on during the George situation, those police officers, they wouldn't have even been charged at all. Remember, they was out and about. They were just out and about.
Right. Yes, sis. Okay, I guess, man. See, that's why I got to come in, is because we can't keep taking these little fucking tokens and carrots that they give us.
Listen, we're dealing with
Listen, though. Let me land. Let me finish. We keep settling for these little fucking tokens and gadgets that they give us. It's like, look, 3 officers did some bullshit that night. They're gonna say, hey, our system won't allow us to charge all 3 officers, but you know what, Negroes, we'll give you a little carrot. We'll say this guy did a law that ain't none of us heard about. We'll say he broke this law, and then we'll send his ass to court just to keep the black people off our ass for a minute. That'll quiet the Negroes down a little bit. And we gotta quit settling for that and saying, well, shit, at least one of them, if we wouldn't have marched, it's like, no, man, all of them should be charged. Don't give us no little tokens. Don't give me a little token over here in politics.
You charge all the cops at
listen, nobody,
you know what I'm saying?
for those people in the street who are marching and protesting, nobody is saying I'm satisfied with this little carrot that you dangling in my face. Do you see people right now? People are hurt with this Breonna situation, not just with the Breonna situation, but with everything that's going on. Yes, with people are hurt and pissed and frustrated and ready to explode due to the racial climate, period, in the United States. So the people that are out there, that for me, who could recognize that, for me, one of the people that could recognize that protest, it is a way of applying pressure. It is a way of saying, look, the people are at an unrest. People are not happy. We're not going to let this go back to normal until we see some changes. We have to, I mean, nothing is going to change overnight. We know that this is going to be a continuous fight. This is going to be continued. And just because 1 or 2 police officers have been arrested, that don't settle me and make me feel at peace and at ease. That doesn't make me happy. That doesn't make me feel like justice has been served. I realize what's going on and the situation that we're in and how we're looked at in America as Black people. But to dismiss a protest and to say that protests don't mean anything, you got to be blind to really think that. When you go back to the civil rights movement, nothing wouldn't have changed if it wasn't for protests and then meeting up with the politicians. Nothing. The Civil Rights Act wouldn't even be on the books. It wouldn't even be on the books if it wasn't for protest. But it's not just protest alone. So when I say protest is something that we should be participating in, I'm not saying protest alone. That's all we do is just go and march in the street. No, it's a part of it's a piece of the puzzle. It's not the whole puzzle. It's just a part. Different people have different, like you said, people are fighting different ways. We need protest.
When you were saying what you were saying, the whole time in my head, you're talking about unity.
That's right. Yeah. And that is unity. You need some people protesting. You need the church mothers praying. You need clergy praying. Then you need the politicians going out here to talking to other politicians. You need your voters voting on a local level. Right. You need people, families, 19 families coming together, buying that 51 acres of land or whatever. All of that plays a part in us obtaining our freedom here. All of it, not just one. So to think that somebody's in the street protesting and we think that's the end all be all and that's gonna solve something. No, that's crazy. That's ridiculous. That won't change nothing alone. But that's a part of the fight. That's all I'm saying.
I think this is my, I guess, my closing view. Actually, before we continue any further conversation, man, y'all want to take a moment of silence for Breonna? 15 seconds.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Y'all keep time.
I think that's it.
All right, man. Yeah, salute, man. Salute. Rest in peace to that sister, man.
Yes, and to all the other fallen soldiers.
Yeah, man. And you know, it's gonna, I hate to say it, family, but it's gonna continue to happen, you know. It just is, man. And it's a sad situation when we know it's gonna continue to happen, and we know that the people are gonna look out for themselves. So
this is why we gotta start. So in between the work we got to do, in between what Cola's saying, we got to start governing ourselves, and we can't be judging one another saying, "Oh, he don't want to do it," or whoever's rocking with it right now. That's just the strength of the team.
That's
and
it.
It's like people
catch up. They're gonna catch up. I always say this, Mario. Real quick. I always say this, man. No one believes in your movement until it's moving.
Right.
Nobody, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
No one's gonna believe in it. So, like the brother is saying, yes, man. If we want to get to the place of governing ourselves, then it may start off with just a small group of like-minded people, but once that shit gets moving, it's gonna pick up. It's the snowball effect. You're gonna have some people come from all over, like, oh shit, y'all want to do it. It's like the 19 families. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I want to link up with them and
Which is a wonderful idea.
how much is the investment? So my family can be the 20th family. You feel me?
Man, have y'all ever got some people together or like or went to anything in protest or whatever?
I have. If you look in the right corner, the best group, little small group. I got 9 or 10 brothers. Black Empowerment starts today. It's a program we started in like 2016, and we get the brothers together. We've been out, been to a couple of the protests, a couple of the rallies, and a couple of the just like I think we was at the 200-man stand. We was at a new Black Panther Party event. So yeah, I mean I have a small circle of brothers who are willing to build with other brothers, and also the Brothers Roundtable. The Brothers Roundtable is another group, man. They do a community cleanup where they go out, pick a community, and then every other Saturday they go and pick up trash, just unannounced. Nobody asked them. We just pull up, go pick up trash. Yeah, man. So it's I've been in groups, so I know what it looks like on a small scale, on a really small scale. But I'm even seeing the snowball effect then. You're sitting in those meetings with 6, 7 brothers, and then you look up 6 months later, it's 25 brothers in that room.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay, shit is moving, shit is growing, and
that's dope.
So I know it's gonna take, and you know what I noticed about a lot of those groups? That we all have a few things in common. We don't agree on everything, but we have a few things in common, and we can roll with that. Like we know. Just a small step in the community is going to pick up the trash. It's not going like I guess damn, Carly, you know what's funny now I sound like a hypocrite because me and you was just having a conversation about protesting, and protesting is just a small step. And like cleaning up the trash ain't gonna stop the crime or change the neighborhood overnight.
There you go.
It may make a young brother or sister not throw that hot Cheeto bag on the ground today. Right. She may say, damn, them brothers walk through here for 4 hours picking up trash. Let me find the trash for this. So I understand it's baby steps, man. Sometimes I just get zealous, overzealous, and I'm like, let's take America right now.
Right. But it's not just, but it's everybody has their lane. Everybody has their lane, and everybody is stronger in particular areas that others are not. And again, when it comes to protesting, it's important that they see people unrested people when things are done to them. It's important that the world sees that these people aren't just I mean, we're not out there toting guns or anything like that, but it's very important that people see that the very people that feel like they're affected, that they're in the streets and they're displeased about what's going on, that you're going to hear their voice, that there's going to be unrest. There's going to be some ruckus in the streets. It's very important that the world see that.
Right.
And feel that type of pressure and feel that type of heat. Right. Because when they do feel it, they get on TV. Media is showing it. Newscasters are speaking on it. Governors and mayors and aldermen and even the president, he's speaking on it. And they do attempt to do some things. I mean, like I said, it ain't it doesn't settle everything, but it's so important that those people who feel victimized are in the street showing their frustration.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. I love it. Y'all know me and Cola.
I mean, what would it look like if we feeling the way that we feel and nobody's in the street doing or saying anything? We just in our houses, going to the meetings, like you said, doing certain things, but there's there's nobody in the street marching or saying a word. With the George situation, with the Breonna Taylor situation, with the Trayvon Martin situation, with all our black men and women who's been shot and killed, what would it look like if the streets were empty and nobody was doing or saying anything about it, and there was no marching and protesting?
Man, can I be optimistic?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, brother.
Hey, man, where's our Underground Railroad? Or is there one?
No.
I don't know. Don't know. Yeah, Optimism.
We don't have it.
But no, you're right. You're right. I'm just trying to stay positive, but
But I'm saying, what would that look like?
Yeah, it's like it does. Like the question's rhetorical because it's like if you think about a movement or like if you're really doing change, how do you not have that fight?
How do you not have it? Somebody got to be in the street hollering and screaming. I mean, what would that look like if we weren't?
Right.
I mean, what'd you say?
I said canvassing.
What would that look like?
Yeah.
Knocking on people's doors.
Yeah. So Mariyo, let me ask you this, man. You were saying we need to govern ourselves, right? And then I heard you say earlier that it's gonna be hard to live with people and be in the same system with people who feel it's okay to just walk in apartments and shoot and just start randomly shooting in apartments. So me and the brother from the Nation of Islam, we pretty much agree on separation. What are your thoughts on separation? Do you think is that anything you've thought about? Do you think that will work if black people, they say this thing, what if black people got 4 of the southern states of America, 4 or 5, and of course people are going to say that's not enough, but this is hypothetical. You got 4 or 5 of the southern states and they say, here, black people, here's your land. You could have your government, your police force, your everything. You can move as a country. What do you think about
I'm going to Africa.
What do you think about that,
Man, I've had these thoughts before, and I think all of that exists. I think that is a way. I think that's a truth. I think there's other truths on the table, and the truth I choose to take away is that, man, I really look at all of it just like every day. I look at it all just like a house. And it's like in your living room, bro, you got a couch, you got a TV, there's a carpet. And so I think we need to govern ourselves. I don't think we need separation, but the separation is needed because it's our proximity to white people that we go through what, and we think, because if you really haven't seen the wealth that they've encountered over generation, then you'll start to not really care about what's happening to you. Mm-hmm. And that's where we're getting. Like, there's people who care, but we are like that. For us to even be having the conversation about, do you think protests work? It's like, they wasn't asking, like you said, there wasn't nobody asking in civil rights. But I know I'm saying, like, when I talk to my parents, I know my parents don't have to tell me. I know they wasn't out. I know they weren't politically informed. Yeah. But it's like in that time though, it just wasn't. And it's like we're at a time now where there's just no way we shouldn't all be able to have some type of, going back to like governing ourselves, some type of space that is an autonomous black space. Yeah. And because we don't need permission to do that. We just need to do that. And us going to ask, man, uniformity and unity, there's liberation and freedom. And we don't have total freedom. Liberty is the right to exercise freedom. True. So we're fighting for liberation. And there's people who are like thinking that that's freedom. So it's like, we need to start exercising our liberty a different way.
That is true.
To create that freedom. And those conversations are happening at the Black National Assembly. And it's not in those conversations, it's not like there's like a greeting, like a welcome, how church go, hello, here's what, agenda. Yeah. And then before you would get there, you would already know there might be 18 different conversations. There's something for everyone. It's like we got to be having all these conversations and we can't be in all of them. So we got to trust. I got to trust that Cola is in her conversation being, and Mr. McGee is, what I'm saying? Y'all trusting I'm doing, and we got to have that. We got to have that amongst ourselves. And I believe it's already there. We just, like you said, it doesn't happen overnight. It's happening. Right. You feel it.
It's happening. We're taking steps.
That's why they keep doing. It's like how I look at everything that's been happening to us. It's like they are not going to stop until we act like them. And we not them.
No, we're
And,
not.
and that,
We're
and
not.
when I say that, that means you don't get to define my statement being racist or my statement saying I don't like white people. And I get that. I get my
Yeah.
post, not posting Facebook. I get that. And it's like, yo, bro, there's no effing way you are having a conversation with me about being oppressed, anything. There's just no way.
Mhm.
So if I can laugh it off and be here and accept the butt end of jokes that I'm of, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, bro, get out of my face. You look silly. Like, laugh that shit off, because I'm telling you, there's better days. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of us who aren't comfortable. We might lose our jobs. Where I had to really, I was working in an organization that actually trained and helped us be comfortable to have those different race conversations where I can say something. You know what, man? That's some white shit that you're doing. Like, that's it right there.
Yeah. Karen, you
Where,
can
you know,
call
I can't
that
say it
Karen.
because we there, but it's like, that's it. Just like,
You can call that lady. You can call that white lady Karen now, and
right,
not.
but we got to be able just to say it and not, and someone not think that I hate you. I tell
Yeah.
you, it's like, bro, you didn't know, and I expect you to tell me when I'm doing something. That's that, and it's like, but you know why you don't got to tell me? Because I code switch when I come to work.
Ain't that something?
That's why you don't got to tell me. I got to tell you. I got to start telling you, because I got to start telling you, because you might be the next person that wanton endanger me. Doing that silly shit, whatever it is you over there doing.
Yeah.
And that's and again, the other side of that conversation is just being vocal about our people. Man, I know you don't usually go over an hour. I do want to say this.
Go ahead.
You
If you're not
good?
aware,
You good? This is good
okay,
conversation.
We good. Yeah, we good. We good. We
if y'all
rolling.
are
We
not
rolling.
aware, Officer Andrew Delk
Yeah.
goes on trial for the murder of Daniel Hambrick on February 15th. And we need everybody there. Mark your calendars.
Okay.
Rich, can you put that on the screen?
Yeah.
February 15th. Officer Andrew Delk.
And we need to stay on top of that.
Because that's our, you know, it's like,
because that's where it starts. It starts on a local level. This is where it starts.
so it's like
Starts right
everybody who
here.
out in the street, and there were there's people who's taken to the streets here in Nashville.
This is where it starts.
It's like, yo, we got to go show up for this family, Daniel Hambrick. It's
yes,
like we right here for Breonna. We Nashville got one.
What's the date? What's the date?
February 15th. We got one. I don't know if y'all seen the video. Maybe
and
we
for
can have
people who aren't in Nashville who do watch the show, send emails to who would they send emails to?
I would say
Cooper. Send it to the mayor, man.
Yeah, Mayor Cooper. Yes.
Yeah,
there you go. Put that up. So for those who aren't here
yeah,
in the city.
So Andrew Delk, was it because man, I am tripping.
Man, I'ma just tell it. It ain't. It's like you can go watch it and Google it. It's man, dude was he stopped the car, he got out, he pursued it, you know, to run after him.
Yeah.
In broad daylight, right in Joe Johnson. He
yeah, we know the story. It's my my daughter's cousin.
Okay, yeah, he popped, bro.
I know Daniel.
Hunting. He was hunting that man. That's it. That's the only thing. That's all I can see when it looked like. It looks like he got out.
I seen dog. I got so many little homies that run all the time, and you know, dog. He was let him go, but he done left the car.
That's
go
it.
Run the tags, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you know.
Man. February 15th, Officer Andrew Delk goes on trial for the murder of Daniel Hambrick. So, man, definitely need everybody to get involved with that, because again, I don't know. I'm not working in all of those areas. So, man, Google it, like you said, email the mayor, whatever it takes. We have an officer here in Nashville on trial for a murder of, like we said, you said it's going to be another one. Well, here it is.
Yeah.
I just posted this the other day about, it seems like, or I may have deleted it. It just seems like every time there's 6 more follow. They keep hitting us with it, and it's been happening. And it's like, bro, you think about before Trayvon Martin, and then you think about Trayvon Martin, bro, they hit us with 6 of them at a time. It's like they gonna keep publicly
It's
lynching
porn, yes.
until we break. But we are, and we can fly off on this note.
Good.
Man, an old professor from that taught at Fisk, white lady, told me in a conversation that was a positive one. Listen to this. She said, white people who it angers, our skin color, this and that. She asked me, have I ever looked into the sun? And I said, yes. And she said, without shades? And I said, yes. And she said, does it hurt your eyes? And I was like, yeah, if you look too long. And she said, that's exactly what it feels like to them. It's like looking at the sun. Man, we're that bright.
Mm-hmm.
We're that. We that.
Wow.
But we've been taught and institutionalized that we came from a low place.
Right.
Yes.
We need to start reconditioning, knowing that where we really fell from, so that we can rise.
That's
go.
right.
Our people don't feel the need to rise as
That's right,
because they think we came from slavery. So it's like, nigga, I'm up. I got J's and some money. What you
mean?
What you mean? But it's like that's not where you fell from.
Mm-hmm.
You fell from way above where you even see what high class standard is.
That's right.
You look at some of them old photos where the people look like us. What they got on the dinner table? Fruit. What people doing now? Juicing, fruit. You fell from that. We look in our communities. It's like, bro, you can't walk in no store and get no produce.
No
groceries and none of the, and it's like that is intentional. It's systematic. So it's like we got to govern that too. Every time I go in the marathon right there by the Wendy's on Jefferson, I say, bro, how much it going for you? I'm not selling. I said, man, I'm not asking you to sell. I'm gonna take it. If I got to get people to not come buy your gas, nigga, you gonna get out of here.
But once upon a time back in the day, all of that was black.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
The gas station, both the gas stations that's together, the BP and then the marathon on the corner beside Wendy's, all at the one on the Odie's, the one on the other end of Jefferson.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the one across the street from that, all of that was black owned. And so I was raised on Albine Street, right across the street from Pearl-Cone High School. So we even had two community grocery stores, black owned. One was called Brown's, the other one called Reacher's.
What would you say? Because see, I've only been here for 10 years. I'm not a native. What would you say from your perspective and experience? What happened?
They sold out.
Say that again.
They sold out. They sold out. In my neighborhood, we had two candy stores that we used. I don't know if you grew up in a community that had candy stores.
Mm-hmm.
That sold the jungle juices, potato chips, candy, all that little snacks and stuff like that. So we had two of them. One of them is closed down. The other one has been taken over by some Middle Easterners. In my dad's neighborhood in East Nashville, over off of Cahal and Scott, in that little area, what is it? Cahal, Scott, and Otay. I think it's Otay. But anyway, they had two community stores in that neighborhood too, black owned, and both of those are gone.
Okay, let me tell you. All right, so if you say what happened, if I had to answer what happened, I would say integration happened. If we look at it on a deeper scale, I know everybody's gonna look and say, "What? What?" No, listen. Once we realized that we could shop, live, work, eat.
Stop. Here you go.
The other race. Listen, don't stop me, Cola. Let me finish. Once we were able to really mingle with white people, we start losing the value in our neighborhoods.
That is true.
It means the people who had a little money was like, oh shit.
There's a story about
that is true.
With the Walgreens. Like that's how Walgreens got its name. It was people was really coming to black pharmacies, and they first bought out all of black pharmacies, and Walgreens was one of the first ones.
Yeah.
It was like, why would I need to go when I can go to Walgreens?
Yeah, and exactly.
That's crazy.
That's the thing. So that's what I'm saying is integration. I know people's gonna say, no, you're blaming it on white people again. No, they made it where a lot of our well-to-do people, and I know this, y'all, because I've got a shameless promotion, shameless plug, but I'm working on a documentary about Jefferson Street in North Nashville before integration, and we were thriving. We were thriving.
We were thriving.
Advertising, and I ain't even speaking about this part of the businesses.
We were thriving.
Once we start changing, this goes back to changing laws. They start changing laws and putting in laws like new gambling ordinances, gambling laws. You know why? Because most of the people who had money in the black community were bootleggers and the number man,
right?
Right. So they were funding all type of movements, fucking revolutionary movements. They were loan sharks. They was helping Big Mama. Big Mama can hold $200 and pay the rent. You know what I'm saying? They were funding and feeding the company. But once you change the gambling
group
law,
economics.
Yeah, and once you change the gambling law, now I can run in your black-owned store because you run numbers out the back door. Now I can run in there, break your shit up, and then any person is going to get tired of that. After I break in your store 7 times, and then at the 7th time, I break in your store and lock your ass up and say, hey, I got somebody who want to buy it. Or we'll take your fucking store from you because we got you on all these charges of gambling. Now you're forced to give up your shit, and now you don't own that Marathon by Wendy's no more. It's a public nuisance. We see them still do that to this day, y'all. There's no black clubs downtown because they fucking put what's that? They padlock the club. Padlock the doors.
No, you have to really speak facts about why there's no black club downtown.
Some niggas can't behave now.
Thank you. I've been clubbing since I was 13, 14 years old. And let me tell you something. We are constantly shooting.
Y'all even tell me them white people ain't doing the same thing downtown, man. They're gonna get more.
They're not shooting. They're having bar fights, but they're not shooting.
Hey, dog. Hey, we get a black club on Broadway.
We shoot.
It's going down, my nigga. And not intentionally, it's going to be something. It just is.
Well, even if it is something, that's fine. If it's a bar fight, that's fine. But we take it beyond. We're hanging out in the parking lot. Listen, I've thrown parties myself. And so here's the thing. When we've thrown parties, here's the thing. We have to make sure we hire police officers so that they can keep people from hanging in the parking lot. Because when hanging in the parking lot after the club, we all know somebody's going to start shooting. When we used to do it at Hadley Park on Sundays, Rich, I don't know if you're old enough to remember that, but when we used to be at Hadley Park on Sundays, they shut down the park because people were shooting. When we used to be at Charlotte Skating Ring on Sunday night, they shut down the skating ring because people were shooting. And this was during my black teenage years in the 90s, we had a real party life. We had a real party life where blacks from all the high schools in Nashville could get together on Sundays. And I mean, everybody kick it. Hadley Park, before they put grass in the park all the way around, it used to be a circle pavement where you could drive all the way around the park. And people would go there on Sundays. And that's when big rims was popping, loud music. Everybody wanted 15s and a 250 watt amp and all that stuff.
I got a picture of those days.
Yes, that's when Freak Nick and all that stuff was out. But everybody on Sundays, and even we were raised in the Christian church, we would come home from church and couldn't wait to hit the park in the evening. And I mean, everybody and their mama, people from Pearl Cone to Weiss Creek to Stratford to, I mean, everybody was out there. And we would everybody just park their cars and just be walking around. And it was almost like, when you think about it now, it was almost like a mini Freaknik every single Sunday. But it wasn't on that scale where people was just getting loose and wild. It was just a hangout spot for the whole city, for black teenagers and young adults in Nashville. TSU people was down there. Fisk was down there. I mean, it was a spot. And then after that, we would leave and then go to Charlotte Skating Ring and hang out there. And it was the same thing at Charlotte Skating Ring. And this happened year after year after year. But we start in the 90s when gangster rap music came out and it really came on the scene. People really started carrying guns, and we said, that's when we started shooting and all of that stuff. And they eventually shut down the park. They closed down Charlotte Skating Ring. And after they shut down Hadley Park, they started blocking it off to keep us from coming in on Sunday. Then we moved it to Centennial Park and tried to do it in Centennial Park for a good 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
And I think
that down.
And they shut that down.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, that's a deeper conversation. Too.
Yeah, it is. But this is my point.
I can't even speak on none of that.
Yeah,
well, this is
then I can speak about how did we get the guns. You know, like
you can speak on that. But this is all
I mean, like Negroes are not trained. We just had JC on, right? And JC told us. Shout out to JC.
It's true. It's true.
Black people, we are ignorant. And ignorant doesn't mean dumb. It's just that we don't
That's
know.
right.
You know,
We're uneducated in weapons training. So
right.
you leave a train cart full of guns in Joe Johnson.
But see,
it's 200 guns in the hood, and nobody's been trained to shoot them. What are you gonna get? You're gonna get Negroes shooting up the park because I got. You can speak to that now, Mariyo. You dealing with the kids now. I'm seeing these kids with Dracos and AKs, and the guns that got bigger
daily
since I grew. You know what I'm saying?
They don't even tuck them. They just be having them hanging in their pockets.
They got 9mm with clips hanging out. What they said? They call it the dick. I'm seeing 9mm with the dick hanging out of it. Like, man, what the? That look like it's gonna jam on you. I ain't the best gunsman, but that's gonna jam on you, brother. It's like that pistol is not made to shoot 60 bullets.
but see, Rich, this is what we have to do before we can fix anything. We have to hold ourselves accountable for our own wrongdoing.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot blame everything on the government, on white folks. We have to hold ourselves accountable. And you're talking about, and you know, I always say, you talk about segregation is
separation. Now get it right.
Okay, you say that's what messed us up and screwed us up.
Oh yeah, integration. Yeah, you're right.
You talk about that. Integration is what messed us up. And here is my spill on it, and I'm gonna say it every single time. We didn't have a plan. No, it's not our fault that we did not know how to be free. It was us. They didn't come dragging us out our neighborhoods. We decided to leave and go buy houses in the white neighborhoods. We decided to take our children out of the black schools and put them in the white schools. That was us. And they didn't even hold on. Wait a minute. Let me say this.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
We infiltrated their neighborhood. They didn't even want us there. We infiltrated their school systems. They didn't want us there, but we pushed and pushed and pushed. And I mean, we cannot blame.
You're not wrong. Like the thing that was going on, the reason why we started doing that is because they burnt our schools and churches and all of our hospitals. That's when they were burning our shit down. So it's like, yo, if we can't live in this community without you, all the massacres that happened before those times. So if y'all just can ride through our towns and burn them down, then I gotta come.
But they didn't
you're not gonna come burn your stuff down.
Listen, they didn't burn down all of our neighborhoods, okay? No. And they didn't burn down all of our schools. Yes, they bombed our churches and our businesses too, but not all of them.
Right. But think about how news doesn't travel like it does now. Like, so we could say that now, but it's like then if you got the news, they just bombed this church, and what's going on, the racial climate then is not what it is now. I guarantee that there was a lot of Negroes scared.
Of course, but they lived in fear. They lived. That wasn't nothing new for them. That wasn't anything new. They have always lived like that ever since they were brought over on this land. They've always lived like that. That wasn't new. None of that was new. But this is the issue. We had black folks we have been beat down so much. The spirit, in my opinion, I say the spirit of the black man has been broken down, and we tend to think white is right. And there were a group of blacks who felt like they wanted to rub shoulders with the whites because they felt like that, you know, if you rubbing shoulders with whites.
That happened to Marcus Garvey when he was here building up politics. There were blacks that would tried to
Yes.
have him assassinated because
Yes,
they
they
wanted to
but it's
parlay.
always that.
Yeah,
Our leaders always
yeah.
come
They
across
want to-
that. But I mean, you had blacks when we were when they finally did integrate us. You had blacks wanting because we were so deprived, or at least we felt like we were deprived. You had blacks just wanting to rub shoulders with whites so that they could feel at least on their level and feel a little bit better about themselves and about their families. And that's where the divide came. That's when we really fell apart and broke away from community. And then that's when the development of, you got your black upper class and this and that and the other, and just all this old
It's
bull.
so many. You know what it is, Cola? It's so many. Well, I know. We speak about this shit every week. It's so many layers and it's so many.
It is so many layers to that.
It's so many
Yes.
systems that was introduced, that was implemented to keep us down and feel broken. And I think my brother used the
Of
word
course.
traumatized.
Absolutely.
These systems will traumatize you.
Absolutely.
If I come in your life, right? I think about myself. Let's think about me as a child. You come in my life, you control my education.
That's right.
You control my spirituality.
Yep. With white Jesus
control,
on the wall.
You control my economics. You control fucking
everything.
The government. Those are, you named all five.
Sex.
There's five social institutions.
Yes.
And that it's family, education, religion, economy, and government.
That's right.
They run all five of them.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, and not to mention, let's not leave out media. What you see on TV every day, what constitutes beauty, as far as a white woman with the blue eyes and the long blonde hair. You know what I mean? And what constitute and leave it. I don't know if
I've been seeing a lot of sisters where, and I love sisters, but I be seeing the tone difference in the face and makeup now more. Like in the neck, and I know growing up, like black girls, I know they ain't really wear makeup like that, but the black girls I see now, it's like the tone from the neck, it'll be lighter, but it's not. I don't think that they're conscious of why they do it, but it's an image. It's like that.
Yes,
it's an image. It's like that's pretty. Like
there you go. And so, like,
if I thought dark was pretty, why wouldn't you put dark on your face?
They're not. We had again. That goes back to programming.
Mm-hmm.
That is
I was saying. That's what I'm saying. I was just like. I wasn't making that a point. I was being funny on this.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I forgot to laugh. No, but Born Rich, I'm just saying, integration was not a bad thing. It's on us that we didn't know how.
It was horrible. Go ahead.
Us that we did not know how to integrate properly. It's on us. It's on us. And then when we talk about separating, when it comes to separating, we'll have to know how to do that properly. We'll have to have a plan. How do we not divide when we amongst one another when we do separate, or if we separate?
Black Nashville Assembly, October 24th.
I hear you.
I'm gonna get y'all some links.
Yeah, do that. Because that has happened in the past. Once we became integrated, Black people separated. And that was on us.
Yeah, I don't know.
mean, we could have took that. We could have took that and ran with it. We could have took it and ran with it. We could have continued with our Black Hospital Meharry. We could have continue with our Cone High School. We could have continued to build and empower our neighborhoods. We could have continued that, but because Blacks want we just discussed that we did not know how to integrate properly. We lost ourselves when we integrated because we had such low self-esteem about being Black and who we were. It's not their fault that we did not know how to integrate. We have to take some accountability on that. They didn't come snatch us about our neighborhood and put us in theirs. For those Blacks who did move in white neighborhoods, they had to fight to move into those neighborhoods.
Yeah, but you had
those Blacks that decided to put their kids in white schools, they had to fight to do that. They didn't even want us there. They didn't want us there.
But Cola, we still did not care. You got to understand, we are resilient people. So yes, if I put my son in an all-white school and they calling him a nigger, yes, I'm going to go down there and have a conversation. But I am a resilient person. You know what I'm gonna tell my son? The same thing my mama told me. Yes, these white people probably gonna call you a nigger, and you're the only Black person in the school. You got to work twice as hard. I'm gonna tell him little things like that and tell him no matter what, we never give up. And once you keep telling them that, and now you're implemented in this, implemented in their neighborhood, in their society, where you're the minority, instead of being, I don't know, I'm just at the age where I want to be amongst my people where I'm the majority. I don't want to go.
I agree with you. So I mean, I'm asking. I'm fixing to ask you. I agree with you. So I mean, I'm going to ask you, what does that have to do with what? I don't get the connection.
I think I can build the bridge because I hear both of you, and it's like what Cola is saying is like us as Black people. It's like if you get to that point where you feel that you need to move out of the neighborhood or send your child to a white school, it's like, nah, you need to not send them out. You don't need. So is that what you're saying? Is that
this is what I'm saying? Integration was not. Listen to me. Integration was not a bad thing. The thing that what happened with it, where we went wrong with integration, is that we did not know how to integrate properly. We separated community when we separated from one another when we integrated because there was no plan. Okay, so now after integration, how do we keep the community strong? We didn't even think about that because we were so caught up in being free people and just wanting to go to this side and that side and just be free without being killed. Excuse me. That was our main objectives, having the same freedom as white people. That was our main objective. So therefore we were in the thick of fighting the fight that we didn't even think about the possibilities of the things that could happen once we did obtain integration. And we began and we separated. So Rich likes to say that was the worst thing that happened to us. Well, it's the worst thing that happened to us because we didn't know how to do it properly.
No,
it's not them.
We didn't get time to plan. We was forced.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not true. That's not true.
There was never a conversation, and I agree with you, Cola. I agree.
That's not true.
It was.
There was never, Cola. There was never a fair conversation of us sitting down. There have been massacres all across the U.S.
Of course, yes, there were.
There wasn't a time when they were like, "Hey, we've just been like, hey, can y'all just stay over there and stop burning our shit down?"
So
hold on, wait a minute. What are you saying? What are you saying?
I'm saying we didn't have our own schools and hospitals and churches because in smaller towns that were not big cities, there were other.
We did.
No, what I'm saying is not every town was as big. So like there may have been more Black communities that we don't know about that were burnt down or ran down that didn't get to thrive. So you have those people who move into the neighborhood and now these Black people ain't rocking with them. You knew. So it's like it's for like we were put in the condition. I'll say that. Maybe we weren't forced. We were definitely conditioned because some of us did integrate really well and have created generational wealth through integration. So the other side of it being messed up or terrible is that for some people it was because if I don't have the economic stability, if I don't have the faith, if I'm not mentally strong as a person and I'm put into these conditions.
Yeah, so yeah, I put this map up. I wasn't trying to interrupt you, bro. I wasn't trying to stop you. I wanted to put this map up, man, because listen, man, these are lynchings, and when you say cities were burnt down, these are a lot of the Black cities and communities that were burnt down, but
that were thriving. They were once thriving.
They were thriving between, because we focus on Black Wall Street, right? We know Black Wall. Everybody knows the Black Wall Street story, but look at all of these towns. All of these towns are good. This isn't nothing, y'all. This is fucking 30 years before integration. That's it. This is 30 years. Yeah, you're only 30. You're 30 years away from integration, man. 30 years. Yes. So if this happened 30 years ago, and then we're starting to see the same thing happen in the early 1950s. It's like shit. We want integration. Like if y'all gonna keep burning our shit down, building interstates and highways right through the most thriving part of our communities, then yeah, I want to get the fuck out of here. I don't want to wake up every day. I don't want y'all are telling me y'all are going to build a highway and take my house, build a highway.
That's what justifies us not having a plan. Because if an individual decides they're gonna do that, And it's like, but again, Black National Assembly, if we had checked in with each other and kept it in the community, it's like we could have got through integration a lot better than what we did.
I give you that. I give you
No,
that.
but you guys are totally
While that
was going on in some areas. You're totally negating the fact that there are groups of Black people that wanted to rub shoulders with whites, that wanted to mingle and separate from the community because they felt like they were better than. They felt like that they would provide them a better life.
Yeah, we know that.
But do they represent? I don't feel that they represent the people. If you leave, it's like you out the game.
You gone, right?
No, but there were several like-minded people that thought the same way. There's people that feel like that today.
Right.
We know that, Colo. We know that.
And that's what
arguing for those people at all, Colo. I'm not even saying that those people were going to leave anyway. Those people were already standing at the gate, like, "Hey, white people, open the gate and say."
Like, what if those of us that stuck together? So, like, you know, when you say the people in the community, if we would have stayed, it's like, what about those of us who stayed? Why are we concerned about the ones who want to leave?
Because we're talking about the breakup of the Black community. That's what we're talking about. So yes, that happened. You know, a lot of some of the communities and some towns were burnt. Some, but it wasn't a majority. The South was full of Black people. That wasn't the majority. It was some towns that were burnt down. You're right. But then we had that was an issue. And then we had some people that were wanting to leave. Some people that wanted to separate for a better life.
Why
so
did
we
they
got to
separate?
We have I don't know, because they felt like maybe, but I'm just saying because they probably felt like white was right. You have Black people that feel that way. Because we had been beat down and oppressed for so long.
We were forced into integration.
That's not being forced.
We were.
So with that being said, we still had a portion of our Black community, like I said, in the 90s, and I grew up with Black stores in North Nashville, and when I would go to my grandmother's house in East Nashville, there were Black stores there, still Black neighborhood intact. But you know,
nuisance laws came in. Now they start saying nuisance and loitering.
This is my whole point to this. We have to share some of that accountability with the breaking up of the Black community. Because that is my point.
We got 100% take ownership.
Yes, because that's my point. Because
that's part of governing ourselves.
There you go.
I'm not just talking about governing ourselves politically. It's time for us to start governing that behavior. That's Black behavior.
Yeah. And so this is all I'm saying. I was painting a picture to say that integration didn't have to turn out the way that it did, but because of the different mindsets of Black people, we took a particular path. Now look at us today, and we have to take accountability for that. And even today, when we look at ourselves today, guess what? We still don't support one another. We don't want a Black doctor. We want a white doctor. We don't want a Black lawyer. We want a white lawyer. We don't want. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we don't want a Black mechanic. He's a shade tree. We want a white mechanic. I mean, it's still you can still see it in our DNA today. So you know what I'm saying about them wanting to move out the Black neighborhood and rub shoulders with the whites. Then, if you look at today, you know what I'm saying is not a lie. Because today we still have that mentality.
Like when I mentioned to you about, and this is why I don't work in the line of work I was working in. I checked it on that code switching. Like that code switching is another part. I'm trying to keep my job. That's me rubbing. While you sit up here and talk and act how you want to act. I checked out. I don't like no conditions like that.
It's true. So Rich, did you hear what I was saying?
Say it again, so sum it up. I'm sorry, I got somebody. It's a lot going on in my background. Go ahead.
Well, what I was saying was I was really just painting a picture to say that you can see the things that I'm saying today, the seeds that were planted well, not planet, but the separation and stuff like that I was talking about back during the integration. You can still see it today with actions such as black people not wanting a black people still not supporting one another, not wanting a black lawyer, you want a white one, not wanting a black doctor, you want a white doctor, not wanting a black mechanic because he's a shade tree, you want a white mechanic. I mean, you see what I'm saying? You can still see that mentality today, and that's the same mentality that was going on back then, and we're still in it right now. And so therefore we have to be responsible for our mindsets and our self-destructive mentalities on the things that are holding us back and keeping us stuck as a people. We have to at some point accept some accountability.
Yeah, I give you that. I give you that. Yeah, we have to be accountable and self-accountable, sis. I give you that.
If we don't take full accountability, it puts us right back in position asking for someone to get us out, which is those weak-minded that's among us. It puts us right back, because then what I need you for? If we going, you know what I'm saying? We got to get that demand back of depending on one another and wanting it.
And let me ask you this: if we had a group of men or women right now, let's say that they had gotten in trouble with the law, didn't have money to get a lawyer, but needed a public defender, how many of them go want a black public defender?
Sure, it depends on who.
How many you think go want a black? Seriously?
Yeah. I mean,
let me agree with you.
Go ahead.
Yes, depending on my charge and what I did, because depending on who's got to go in there and say something, because I've been in run-ins with the law, none where I've went to jail. My lawyer's always been black, and a black female at that.
Okay.
So in the circle of friends that I'm in, I was able to get those lawyers through them. But I do, depending on what I did myself, yes. Give me white boy over here who's already. That's just what it is.
You see what I'm saying?
No, I feel you, Mario. I understand why you would choose a black woman.
But if we govern ourselves,
black women like to argue.
We could check a lot of that behavior. We could check a lot of that behavior if we would govern ourselves, for real.
Yes, we have to reel ourselves in.
We keep putting ourselves back in position.
Yeah,
we do it.
You know what a lot of people will think, Mario, and it's crazy, and I always say this, right? So when I say my separation thing, right? When I say we should separate, I used to have a bad habit of arguing with white supremacists on the internet, right? So they would say, why would we let y'all be separate and give y'all, hypothetically, 5 states when all y'all gonna do is kill each other because of the black on black crime? And I used to always tell them, like, you think if we had our own nation that we would let black people just run around killing people? Like, no, they ass is gonna go to jail, and that we're gonna have laws and penalties and stuff set in place to where if you are committing quote unquote black on black crime, your ass is going to jail.
Our crime is linked to poverty.
Absolutely.
It's research and data. So our crime isn't because we want to kill one another. It's poverty, and our poverty is systematic. It's intentional.
And proximity. Poverty and proximity.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So we do know it's poverty. Do you not think that it's lack of coping, lack of being aware of coping mechanisms? You don't think that's a part of the problem?
That too, because in the education, when I have a caseload of exceptional ed students. So like if I'm just randomly picking a case out of my head, it's like, yeah, a lot of them lack social emotional skills. And because they're in a home where the adult lacks social emotional skills.
There you go, from generation to generation.
So that's if you turn, let's say you did a 180 from there, the other side is you also now have, and I'm telling you firsthand, you now also have teenagers who have parents who can't read. So like we're now dealing with that, and the world is changing into coding and building websites. And bro, we can't read. Our lower bottom, we don't have a bottom. It's like, bro, if you was to put black people and divide us into 3 classes, our bottom of the lower class is not in position to help in the fight. They're not in position. But here's the thing. They are our strongest fighters. because they're in the bottom, and a lot of us who were up wouldn't make it a day in that trench, in that thing. So it's like my purpose my intent and purpose in my community is to enlighten. I'm if I had to put them in there, I don't look at them, oh, you look like you're in the bottom. I get caseloads. So these are people given to me. These, I'm not choosing these fans. And I don't know, not all of them are on that, but when I go to visit a certain one, I know when I'm walking in, if the lights is out in what neighborhood, I know what I mean. I know the adult I'm talking to. And so they do understand you have to talk their language. There's a disconnect from our schools and our communities. We got to close the gap. These schools are moving in our communities and trying to teach our children culture. It's like, bro, you in North Nashville. You out east. Man, you out south. What you mean?
Yeah.
Culture.
Yeah. What you mean tuck your shirt in? What you mean tuck your shirt in? You come into my community, tell me to tuck my shirt in? No.
Well, I'll say this, because I'll say this. I tuck my shirt in, and it's not my daddy taught me how to tuck my shirt in, so I didn't learn it the same way. So I could see, but it's like, again, going back to, man, and I know because I done put kids out of school for this. Kid don't tuck their shirt in, and it becomes a thing, and then this is another reason why I don't work in those organizations. Man, it's on the paper. When you send your kid to that school, you sign stating that it is a parent choice. It's a parent choice. So when your child chooses not to wear it, that ain't on the child after so long. It's on the parent. So again, we got to get our Black teachers up out of those schools because they hiring all of them up because that's who can deal with them.
Yeah.
So all of them need to come to any school that's predominantly Black. I know I named the ones that's in the cluster in my community in 37208, but man, any of the schools that are in Black communities, man, get there. I don't care where you live at. Can't nobody deny you a job. I know there's opening. I know we need teachers at these schools, and we need the best ones.
What do you say to these YouTubers that are online just preaching that the educational school system is like we don't need it?
I've said this to some. Because I've talked to parents. I believe that just trying to give a visual reference, I believe there's a pressure right now on families, on teachers, on our community, on our society. But there's a high pressure, medium, and there's a low. And I found some success in the low pressure, but all of it's pressure. But it's the people who are doing that. I'm not aware, but if people are doing that, what they're doing is they're feeding into the people who are at that high pressure. So it's like if you're not going to be able to escape it. But it's like what I can say in the low pressure is it definitely, our education system definitely is what you say it is. If a parent today decides that they do not want their child doing the virtual on computer, and they would like a packet, then they can make that request. That is in the virtual, that's in the handbook. They told you that. But people or parents, or they keep making their kid, the laptop. You don't care because you would have got the packet. My mama would have went and got the packet, and I would have been on the laptop.
Yeah, me too.
So it again, that low pressure. So it's like, what works for you? If y'all ain't got internet, it's a lot. And for some kids,
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who are literally saying that, for instance,
it's a bus. Like we don't.
No, I know a guy in particular who has 3 daughters who does not enforce them doing their homework because he says it's all fake anyway.
No, I don't rock with none of that.
It's all fake anyway. Why they doing it? It's lies anyway.
I don't thinking rock with that. My stance on that is if you feel that way, then you shouldn't. That's not the pathway of education. You need to homeschool. Your child needs an education.
But they believe that the American education.
hold on,
Yeah,
listen.
I'm
You
telling
said
you
homeschool.
firsthand. I can tell you just based on state standards on how they teach the education. Oh, it was never set up for us. It's a bus. But that doesn't mean our kids don't need to know, because all of them ain't gonna be success. Some of them gonna be working at that job and some of them gonna find happiness and joy. So I ain't bashing it. What I'm saying is that right now it isn't the only form and source of education. And what we're finding out, what a lot of the research and data that's coming out now is not so much with the virtual, but it's like the coding side and like what kids need to learn.
What they need to.
Yeah, you literally could go down to the Board of Education and show, hey, Bubba, hold on, and show them the pathway in which you're going to fulfill your child's education and get it approved. It's paperwork, but if you don't know the steps, and if you're not, because you got to check in, you got to uphold your end of the deal. You know, your child can go. There are facilities and places your child can go throughout the day to get that math, and they, an hour, and if that works with your schedule.
They don't think it's important. This is what I'm telling you. See, you stuck on, well, maybe they're not satisfied.
I'm saying they're crazy. It's like I wouldn't want to waste no time even speak. It's like that's dumb.
And I'm thinking,
I disagree because y'all was saying the American. I'm not saying no education, right?
I'm not talking about you. No, there's a guy that I know in particular.
I know, Cola. But listen, this is what I'm saying. I disagree with y'all, right? Now, if a person is saying no education, then okay, now we're gonna have to educate the kids in something, right? But
that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying this traditional American slave masters education and curriculum is not happening. I am sharing my screen right here. Shout out to my brother Q Butter from the Zayex Institute. We need more things like this, where it's African-centered STEM curriculum.
But these are still European structures.
Yes, that's what they.
It doesn't matter.
Yes,
I'm telling you, I write. I'm not tooting my own horn. I create stuff like this. I do it for Gideon's Army. I run courses. This is and I'm not knocking this. We do need this, but it's like, man, African Center. Are we going to Africa? Because that's the application. That's the real life. Now I'm not knocking. I would send my child, but what I'm telling you is the formatting and how it's rolled out, and for any approval, anything that he's doing like that,
still based on European foundation. European foundation still.
Yeah, because but you're still not getting the European curriculum per se.
You're talking, okay, so what you're specifying when you talk about that, you should specify history. You're talking about history.
We know math and science.
Not just math, science, reading. You need that. Literacy. You need literacy. You need world geography. I mean, you need those things. What you're specifying is history. That's the only thing that I think. That's the only thing that I could agree with you with on that. But you still need to know American history. But you need to know African history as well, where you come from.
I don't think our kids should be going to no institutional building, though, and learning for 8 hours a day. I don't agree with that.
I give you that. Yeah, I give you that.
I'm there. And it ain't called for. It ain't needed. It's like, I get really what it comes down to is there should just be more programming around trades and skills. So it's like, okay, if we're going to have them there for 8 hours, we don't need to spend 8 hours only teaching them arithmetic and literacy. It's like it should be 3 hours, 3.5 hours of that. And then they should be working on soft skills, life skills, social, emotional.
That should be integrated into the educational system.
So that's,
again, that goes back to coping.
When you talk getting away from the European, I'm on that path right now. The stuff I'm working on and building, the program that I have is every first and third Saturday. It's been on pause because of the pandemic, but it will start back up, and we will be starting it in Cumberland View, in Dodge City, when we started back up, but it's geared towards, I wouldn't call it an African centric or anything, but it's geared towards what I believe education looks like for our youth today, which is, yes, you're going to get those things, but again, you can get those things Monday through Friday at school. So it's like, I'm not really trying to say, hey, pull your kids out of school. What I'm saying is, again, integrating, or we got to slowly pull them out. It can't be like a quick, because again, it's like what you said, there was no plan. What's the plan? So I think the plan is we let them teach them that, and we start teaching them what they need, until they can become self-learners to go learn that and do that. Because I hear kids all the time, my grandma didn't finish, she don't 3 minutes. Yeah, because your grandma already knew it, fool.
Yeah, I already know it. Yeah. I already knew it. Yeah.
I already knew it. So, no, man, that's good stuff. Again, I think unity is the biggest, I guess, mark I would want to leave in my presence here. And that is just like us just welcoming one another. I love y'all because y'all black. I don't care what you saying, what you talking about. Man, yeah, as long as you don't know, no fuck shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, bro, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, that's what, I don't care who you are. Man, you black, it's like, I got nothing but look, come on to the conversation, because that's the only way we're going to be able to mobilize. And once,
right.
I think what's, and I'll say this from the outside, like what Gideon's army is doing, I think a lot of people see it. I think people are now watching to see what their friends are doing, though. You know what I'm saying? It's like they have enough power and momentum where I think people want to get involved, but it's just going to take, I think now, outside circle, everything can't be on Gideon. Like, it's not just going to be one mobilized thing. It's like, dog, we got black people in Brentwood, Antioch, Laverne, there's Murfreesboro, there's here, there's not, East Tennessee, West. So it's like when I think about the work Gideon's army's doing, it's like, yeah, I think it's like a model, but I think now's the time for people who see it to start adopting some of the principles and values, which is simply what you were saying, getting out in the streets and being present. But it's like being present in our communities. We got to get out the house, like just on some kick it stuff, just getting back to having. And before the pandemic, that's how Mr. McGee and I met. I was doing every second Sunday, I was doing a community dinner at a McKissick Fund up at McKissick Park. And it was Chef True came and he did the meals. The youth, I had a young homie who would organize all the youth. They play basketball, and I just wanted a space that I could go and be family.
That is awesome.
I didn't want to run nothing. I wasn't trying to clean up. I wasn't trying to serve. I wasn't trying to. It's like, bro, I want a place I can go on the weekend, once a month. And my idea, my vision was like, think about if the African Street Fest was every day. Well, right. We have it. We really do have it. And it don't have to look like the African Street Fest. But, bro, we have that. I'm just ready to see us. It's like, yes, I'll say it one more time, Black National Assembly. But it's like, if there's just nothing else you can do and you don't rock with nobody, get into your local park. Like, let's get outside and, like, let's be seen loving one another.
Oh, that is so awesome.
I love it. I love it, Mariyo, man. I love it. I really appreciate this, Mariyo. Damn, we 2 hours in, family. This was a good one, Mariyo. Still got
I didn't even talk about none of my music, man.
That's what I was gonna say. We still got so much shit to discuss, my brother. Cool. Definitely gonna get you back on, though.
I would love to shoot. Man, there's some real powerful youth out here. Yeah. When I say youth, I'm talking some college kids too. You ain't 21. I'm like, you a youth.
Yeah, I got you.
So there's some college kids, TSU to be exact. I would love to send your way. One is Dashawn Gardner. I think you know Dashawn.
I think I may have heard of him.
He's graduated. He go to school with your son.
Okay.
He just graduated. He's at TSU. He's doing a lot of community work. He's one of my close youth who, man, I'm out here trying to just make calls to several youth, and then they go get you know, because they know what to say to one another.
Yeah,
And they're not
speak
gonna
the language.
sugarcoat it. It's
They
like,
speak the language.
man, I'm winning off not trying to tell kids what it is. I'm out here like, yo, hey, I got this idea. It's like, let these kids have original ideas and let them move. I know we're almost around time. If no one didn't know, the civil rights started here in Nashville.
Yeah, we know.
Okay, but I'm just saying, if somebody watching, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, we look at what's going on, bro.
And you
Look where we at. It's
we're
like
right here in the hub.
it is so important.
Look,
for our
and
youth.
TSU, Fisk, Jefferson Street, all up in that. That is, and you know what? I think it's a shame that I don't know if there should be tours of that area. There should be tours of that area
because they got it on the tour site. When you come to
Yeah, and
Nashville,
it's
it's on there about the Fish
book
Jubilee
too, yeah.
singers, and
I mean, there should actually be a tour where, you know, there's a bus that take tours through the history of the civil rights movement, because it extends all the way from, like I said, from TSU to Jefferson Street, back off in there, those
I'm
neighborhoods.
Take that back to the team. I'm gonna take that. I like that.
And then it extends. It goes to downtown.
I like that. That's hard.
But then it goes to downtown too, where they were sitting in at the Woolworths. That's where the McDonald's used to be downtown. But anyway, yeah, it goes all the way back into downtown too. So
I love it. I love it, man.
Appreciate y'all's time. This has been love and a blessing.
Nah, I appreciate it, Mariyo. I would like to, man, a couple weeks at the most, bro. I want to get you back on, man. We definitely want to chop it up about your music. Chop it up a little bit more about programs that we could get involved in. I want to I want to just talk to you on some other shit, bro. I got some things in the works that I think that we could collab on. Sister Cola got some great ideas. Hopefully we can collab on all of that good stuff, man. I appreciate it. I really, really, really appreciate it. As far as I did share your YouTube channel. So if y'all click that the YouTube link I put in the chat, family, that's brother Mariyo Deon's YouTube channel. Go, you know what I say about YouTube channel.
Oh man, I got 2 songs dropping tonight at midnight. It'll be available everywhere, streaming on all digital streaming platforms. They are about love relationships, and so it's a new chapter of the music. I know the Jack Moves was one vibe, and so I'm getting to some conversations on some grown man because I looked at analytics and the data. I have a huge male following, and I know why, but it's like, yo, man, I really got a lot of love for my sisters and ladies. And like, that's the one thing I talk about to a lot of young males is just how they treat these young women. And I'm seeing it. It's like, bruh. But yeah, 2 songs.
That's another scene. We need to have a conversation on that.
I was going to say, Cola, write that down. Bro, write that down, Cola. We'll bring him back in 2 weeks if he's free. We'll bring him right back in 2 weeks, and we'll talk about that. I love them conversations too, and he sees it. He's a brother that's dealing with the youth on the
I'm right basis. With the teens. So I'm at Pearl.
Yeah, he's seeing the male-female dynamic every day.
And they rough. Hey, they hard on each other. Like,
I know, and I try to tell my son, like, son, you're gonna have to be. Yeah.
Some of it,
sisters,
But you know what? We need, in order for us to become better people, it's gonna start at home with the fathers teaching the sons how to treat women, not the mothers. Not the mothers. We can talk to the sons all day.
We got ways, Caller.
Yes, and with the daughters teaching, with the mothers teaching the daughters. But what I'm saying is, the mothers can speak to the sons all day. But when you hear mama, yeah.
I love my mama though.
Yeah, but you know how that, women, we tend to come off as we're nagging, you know what I mean? So it takes the fathers to talk to the sons about how to treat women, and the mothers talking to the daughters.
The youth are listening. For any positive info, I'm not just saying that for motivation. I know we hear a lot that the youth are wilding. They don't care. They care so much, and they're hurting, and they are listening. They're watching us. So, man, anybody out there watching it and checking this, man, don't lie to these youth. They see it on their phones. They're watching real world stuff. They are over, like how we were told, oh, you don't need to know about that. They know.
Oh, they got to know.
So I'm just encouraging you, if you want to really change some youth, just be honest and real. They're just sick of being lied to. They see the lies. It's like,
Man, I
Yeah,
love it. Brother Mariyo, how can the people get in touch with you, man? Leave your socials and all that good stuff, brother.
Mariyo Deon, all social media is Mariyo Deon, and it's spelled just how it is here on the screen: MARIYODEON. Excuse me. But yeah, definitely check out. I got 2 songs dropping tonight. FIL, which is the acronym for Falling in Love, and then there's another record called So, and they
What
just
time is
detail.
that?
Say that again.
Well, I mean, my bad. Go ahead. Finish.
I was just saying they detail some truth in love relationships. That's it. It's just a story. That's all.
Nice. What time they dropping?
Be midnight here in Nashville. I know for sure. I just be waking up in the morning. This will be songs 7 and 8 I've dropped this month.
Okay.
So I've been doing them every 3 days.
Yeah.
And they've all been songs that are in these times that we're going through. So the very first song was called Can't Lose. And it just talks about I got a lot on my mind I can't lose. Turning off my phone, cutting off the news. Focused on my presence in time, full bloom. I feel we're in a time where as Blacks, we're actually getting an opportunity to change the narrative and how the world sees us right now. Like now's the time, and that's why they keep doing what they're doing. The world is watching right now, so we got to cut that stuff off. It's like, bro, quit letting them write the narrative. And so that's what all the records, if you go check them, it's just a continued, and we just got to the love part. It's like, man, wow. Because that is, man, relationships are out here struggling in the pandemic.
I hear.
Nah, it's rough, man. It is rough.
I hear.
I got a couple little thoughts. They ain't been coming around. They don't call. It's ugly. It's ugly.
That COVID got them back.
It got them serious. The thoughts ain't calling. It's rough out here, man.
Yeah.
Nah, man, but salute to you, man. Salute, brother. I love this, man. Like I said, I'm gonna bring you back soon. I'm gonna be in touch with you, man, because I also do a weekly YouTube show with a panel of brothers, man. It's 7, 8 brothers. It's a little bit more relaxed. You don't have to put your camera
Carla, do you got any other shows that you do?
No, but I am working on one.
Okay. Yeah, man, y'all got other people, let me know, because I got this music going, and I'm out here with these youth in this community. I would love to do more of this and just get the word out. I'm just trying to share what's going on in the streets.
Yeah. See, my YouTube show, I run it a little later because I got a lot of the UK family. They come and mess with us. And the time difference it's like a 6-hour time difference. So
let's do it.
Go ahead.
I said, let's do it.
Yeah. So I'll reach out to you next time before I go live on YouTube, send you the link. Like I said, it's more laid back. It's mostly audio only. I don't turn my camera on. Nobody turns their camera on. I throw out a few topics, and then you got some brothers from Tennessee, brothers from New York, brothers and sisters from the UK, and we all just, talk that black shit. So I would love to invite you to that, my brother. I think your voice, you have a good voice on that. Your voice needs to be.
You would bring some reason.
Yeah, we do. Exactly, Carla. I'm listening like, this brother will be a voice of reason.
He will be some reason.
But yeah, man, salute, man. Y'all go support my brother Mariyo Deon, man. Stay up. You ain't got nothing but an hour and a half, man. Stay up to 12 o'clock.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm gonna wake up in the morning and bump them things.
There you go, man. And then make sure, you're right. If you go to sleep, wake up in the morning, make sure you go to wherever you get your music at, whatever music app you go to, make sure you go to it.
They're on the iHeartRadio app as well. We just got that a couple days ago. I got a call.
Nice.
Big shout out to Passion Music Branch and Royce Gold, West Hood, T Hood from the neighborhood. So they're definitely the reason the music is able to, just drop. So I'm able just to create and do things like this. Man, so I definitely have a team. I just want to show love to them tonight too.
Man, salute to the team, man. And I can vouch for that. A couple brothers reached out behind the scenes like, yo, I want to do a flyer, this. I'm like, yeah, that brother got a team, and I love that. Go ahead, Carla. I'm sorry.
Nothing, Mariyo, after we go off, stay on, because I have a question I want to ask you about your music. I was going to ask you here, but I don't think it's wise to do that.
Okay, cool.
All right, so family, listen, Facebook family, man, listen, go support the YouTube Born Rich Club Films. Born Rich Club is one word, films is another word. Make sure y'all go support that. I'm telling you, Facebook, I'm eventually probably going to come off of Facebook. So make sure you go to the YouTube page and subscribe. The traffic, the balance of power is shifting, and I'm leaning more towards YouTube. But you know, I know I started with the Facebook family, so make sure y'all go over to YouTube, support. Same thing on the other end, YouTube family, go support, man. Mr. McGee Show on Facebook, the ones of people that's rocking with Facebook, support. It's been scrolling across the bottom of the screen all day. It's my IG. Like, subscribe, share. The PayPal information is right down there if you want to, contribute to a content creator. That's all I love. I love all of that. And shout out to the people who have blessed the PayPal. As you can see, I got a little green screen action going. Some bullshit ass lights in here, but hey, we working it. We getting there. So salute to y'all. Cola, anything you want to say before I go, sis?
No, great conversation. Thank you, Mariyo, for coming on with us and sharing some info.
Yeah, and then it's the mask, man. So y'all screenshot it, get a good look. It's probably the last time y'all gonna see me wearing this weak ass mask. I don't do this shit. And COVID is a scam. And I'm out, y'all. Peace.